some Easter cookies. Cookies are one of my favorite things to decorate, and Easter is one of my favorite holidays to decorate for, so I'm in for a real treat today. This is something I love to do. Right here we've got some cookie cutters. These are copper cookie cutters because I like a good sized cookie to decorate. Majority of these are actually from my collection. These right here are all designed by me and available at the Cake Cottage. And then these two right here, this bunny and the little carrot, those are available at the Cake Cottage too, but you can get them at other places. So we're going to do most of the decorating with fondant. We are going to do a little royal icing. For instance, this cookie right here is actually all done with royal icing. We might change the carrot just so you can see a different design. So that I will show you how to outline with royal and flood in. And then all these other ones are done mostly with fondant, a little bit of royal icing here and there. So for instance, this little egg house right here is this cutter, only this way, this cutter. And then the little chickie in the egg is this one. Then I have the topiary, which is actually turned out to be my favorite one because it just looks so elegant and a little bit different. So it's a little egg topiary tree. And you could use that all year round for just change it into other, that could be a topiary for any occasion actually. Mother's Day, things like that. Then over here we've got the little chickie just by himself. He's holding a little egg. And then this cute one here, which is a bunny that's popping out of an Easter egg. So those are the ones we're going to do. We're going to start by just kind of showing you how I roll out my dough and cut the cutters and talk about baking just a little bit. Okay, so I have some cookie dough here. We're going to give you the recipe for this. And I like this dough because it doesn't spread a lot. And that's really important when you're doing these decorated cookies, especially when you're covering them with fondant, because you're going to use the same cookie cutter that you used to bake the cookie, to cut it out, to also cut out the fondant and place on top. So it needs to be about the same shape. So this has been chilled for a little while, just knead it a little bit. I use a piece of parchment paper like this, and I just place the cookie dough down in the middle. This prevents you don't have to use a lot of flour, so it doesn't dry out your dough as much. Occasionally I'll take a little flour and put it on the rolling pin if it sticks too much here. And then I just try to roll it out. Now for the larger cookies, I just would use all this dough and try to roll it out as large as this piece of parchment so I can get as many cookies out of this as possible. If you want to make sure that your cookies are all uniform as far as thickness, what you can do is take a couple of dowels like this, place it next to the dough and then your rolling pin on top, and just roll until you basically can't roll anymore because it's rolling on the dowels, and then all your cookies will be the same thickness. So that's a little tip. There are also rolling pins out there that have little rings on the sides, so you could use those also. And yeah, you would use a larger rolling pin so that you could put your dowels way over here and then roll across it. I just always use my baby one because that's what I travel with. That's what I'm used to using now. Okay, so once I have that rolled out, then what I do is I take my cookie cutter, and I'm just going to be using this little one, and I cut, and usually leave it down in there, and then leave a little space and continue to cut like this till you cut everything out, and then you remove the excess dough. So I'm not actually moving the cookie. The cookie stays right there on the parchment paper, and then you lift up this entire piece of parchment paper and place it on your cookie sheet. So just pick it like this, place it on top of your cookie sheet, bake it at a 350-degree oven. It depends how big the cookies are. Like these would take maybe 5 to 7 minutes. Larger ones anywhere from 10 to like 14 minutes. Just keep an eye on them. And then remove them, let them cool, and you're ready to go. So the reason I do this rather than just cutting them out with the flour, I told you I don't use the flour on here just because it dries out your dough. And the reason I cut the cookies on there rather than here is here I'd have to go ahead and pick this up and place it on here. And it might, if there's one that's a little bit more detailed, such like the little chickie little feet, what could happen is you put it on here and maybe you bent it. So then when I go to cover this in fondant, where I use the same cookie cutter, it's not going to match up. So that's why I like to do it this way. All your cookies are going to be nice and uniform, and they're just going to look so pretty when they're done.